Hello everyone, today's poem is Daya, 卷阿, a Daya poem from the Book of Songs. The title 卷阿 very likely, with very high possibility, is a place name. This was confirmed by a very mysterious and magic history book. It has two names. This history book has two names, 几种竹书纪年 or 几种书. 几种 is a very ancient tomb, and it was digged out by a tomb raider 1,700 years ago. So this tomb raider was this event was recorded in the official history book of the time, and the book was all on the bamboo stripe, on the bamboo pieces. So which means this book is a very ancient book, normally ahead of the Han dynasty. So in that time, the bamboo was, and the piece of cloth is normally the material to write on. So in this very magic book, in the West Zhou dynasty, the third king, the king Cheng, in his 33 years, it has the words like this: 王游于卷阿，韶康公从. So which means the king have a tour to the place 卷阿, and a lord named Shao Kang, he followed the king. So very likely, with very high possibility, the 卷阿 not only is a place name, and it's about the tour of this king, King Cheng. As a modern Chinese, the title should be read as 卷阿. Well, as a half local people, I was born in Xi'an City. The character A should be read as in this circumstance. So it means 卷阿, 卷 or 犬 劝 So when you read some of the books about this poem, most of them will tell you 卷 should be read as 犬. So this is quite like the local language 劝. And the second character A should be read as so this is also a local dialect 劝 The meaning is identical to 卷 today. So it means to scroll something up, something was curved. Means a small hill or small mountain, a bigger hill, a mountain bigger than a hill, but it's much lower than a mountain. So this is quite the case in the places of 卷阿. If we go through the poem, we would know that 卷阿refers to the North Mountains of Zhouyuan. So Zhouyuan is the starting point of Zhou people, and from this place they built a strong state, and then they conquered the whole country, built the Zhou dynasty. So this tour actually is a blessing tour, is to salute to their ancestors in their hometown, I should say, the hometown of the Zhou dynasty at Zhouyuan. The atmosphere reflected in this poem is peaceful, enjoyable, and happy, which actually I think matches the history situation. Roughly, after they established the Zhou dynasty, after 30 years of peace and building up the whole country. So everything should be settled down, and everybody enjoyed a peaceful and a happy life. And at the moment, one day they went back to their hometown and have to pay their respect, to memorize their ancestors at 周原. Okay, the first paragraph. 有卷者阿，飘风自南. The little mountain was curved in the zigzag way, and the wind blew from the south. 凯替君子，来游来歌，以矢其音. The very handsome, proud lords, they come here, have a side tour, and to sing their songs for the purpose of promise, to make their oaths. So the first sentence describes the surroundings. So at this place, we should be very familiar to this place. It's a very natural basin. In the center is the Wei River going to the east, and the North Mountain is small mountains. So that's why they call the North Mountain 有卷者阿. The mountains extend from the west to the east in the zigzag ways, but they are not big mountains. In the south, not far from 10 to 15 kilometers away, that's big, huge mountains, the South Mountains. But if the poet write 有卷者阿, that's the North Mountains, and in the south it's also mountains. He just don't repeat it. He just mentioned the wind blowed from the south. But actually, you should imagine if you are standing at the foot of the North Mountain, you feel the mountain is very high or maybe steep. But if you look to the south, not far from, there's much bigger South Mountains over there, and which is also extend from the west to the east endlessly in the zigzag way. So that's the very familiar situation for the Zhou people. So whenever they mentioned this will bring the Zhou people the very familiar sense to them. 凯替 is a very frequent word in Book of Songs. 凯 actually very likely refers the very proud soldiers, generals in full armors and with full weapons, with the sense of victory. So that's 凯. T is one by one in a very fine, rude way, very in a harmony. So I should say in a harmony by one. So 凯替君子 refers there's a lot of laws, and they look so great, and they come to here in a very harmony way with the sequence, very good, in a good order, I should say. 凯替君子 in a good order. So they come back to their hometown to memorize their ancestors, and also to express their feelings, to make their promise, to make their oath. First thing first to their ancestors, of course, and as well to the whole country, to all the Zhou people, that we enjoying the fortune from our ancestors. So the fortune is by our ancestors, and as the king, as the laws of today, we will promise to our ancestors, we will keep your glory as always, keep your assets and make your assets more brighter, more greater, and we will make our people, our country stronger and more prosperous. So that's the first paragraph. Okay, the second paragraph. 伴奂尔游矣，悠游尔休矣. So you two walk around, you two around very happily with no hurry. And 伴奂 is a long word. It's also a 连名词. So the ancient Chinese, you should explain the ancient Chinese one character by one character. But for 连名词, the two character together mean something. You cannot split the two character to explain the two character separately. So 伴奂 actually is equal as 盘桓 today. So they walk around, they tour around in their hometown, in this very familiar place. They should be very familiar to this place, or they at least read a lot. They heard a lot of stories about this our hometown, this place. But still, because it's the hometown, the place the Zhou people start up their empire, so they are so in love, and they so admire, and they are feel so intimacy with this piece of land. 悠游尔休矣. Xiu is a very key concept for Asian Chinese. So together, 休息. Today it means take a rest, have a snap. But this actually is something philosophy concept, a very, very high valued philosophy concept for the Asian Chinese. So if they feel the life is not good, normally they will say, I don't have time to take a rest. I don't have the time to take a breath. Take a breath. So if you are allowed to have enough, have good enough rest, you are enjoyable. You have a very good life. So here, 悠游尔休矣 actually is telling us the tour doesn't, they don't feel tiresome at all with this tour. It's so enjoyable. Okay, the next sentence. 茙颙君子，俾尔弥尔性，似先公酋矣. Those proud and magnificent laws, please make the best of your life, make the best of your characteristics, just like our ancestors and like our ancestors' deeds. P is let, so this is sort of the from the poet's perspective, of even from the king's perspective, if this poem was on behalf of the king. So let you me means to make something full extent. So this is means to make something best. 而性 is life, is living. It also has the derived meaning of characteristics. So no matter the whole life or character, it doesn't matter. So this sentence basically means to make you the best. Try to make yourself the best of you. And like our ancestors, they built the country from the scratch, and they built all the peaceful life, the happy life for us. Okay, the third paragraph. 尔土宇昐章， 以孔之厚矣. Your land, your house was so big and so high. That's the most thick fortune you're enjoying today. So 土宇 refers to the land because all the it's the laws here, right? The assets is the law, the land they have, the big house they have. 以孔之厚矣 is talking about the fortune, the asset they have today. And the Chinese describe the fortune, the luck, as 厚, very thick. So this is the specialty in Chinese. So the sentence actually here is just like this. Today you enjoy the fertile land and the big house. Everybody, you have fertile land and the big house. And that's the most thick fortune, most thick happiness you could enjoy. Okay, the next sentence. 凯替君子，俾尔弥尔性，百神尔主矣. All the proud and outstanding laws, let make yourself the best of you, because you are the host for the hundreds of gods on the heaven. So what actually here means they are responsible for the gods in heaven. In the ancient China, there are so many gods in the heaven responsible for different aspects. That's a god responsible for the agriculture, a god responsible for the stove, a god responsible for the wheat. So there's so many gods in heaven, and they have different responsibilities in the human's world, in the nature's world. And the officers, the laws of the Zhou dynasty, each of them, they correspond to one of the gods. So they should serve, they should pray to that god they are correspond to and make the god happy. So when the god is happy, the god will bless the people, bless the Lord with fortune, so everybody can enjoy a good life. So that's the responsibility of the Lord. The Lord is not just enjoying the life. They have a big responsibility for the God, for the public as well. So when we compare the second and third paragraph, it's quite interesting that the Zhou people put their ancestors ahead of the gods. So that's the fundamental philosophy of the Zhou dynasty, and this tradition come down to today's. Before the Zhou dynasty, God is always the very first to be respected, to be obeyed. But since the Zhou dynasty, they put their ancestors almost at the same level of the gods, and in these particular poems, they even put their ancestor ahead of the gods. So that's a big difference, and that's built something fundamental for the Chinese culture. And in other words, a very political words from the Zhou dynasty, 敬天保民. So you should pray, you should pay your respect to God, but almost with the same importance, you should try your best to protect your people. You should try your best to support your people. It's with almost equal importance. So that's a big change from the previous dynasty. Okay, the fourth paragraph. 尔受命长矣，茙禄尔康矣。 Your laws, you have accepted the mandate, you accept the order for a very, very long term. And your fortune and your assets are so abundant. 受命, so you accept the order from the king, from the heaven. So that's their fortune, that's their fate, right? As a fate of a lord, as the high-ranking officers, they inherit everything from their ancestors, from their fathers. 福禄 福 is a long word, is the fortune, is the luck. 禄 is the asset, normally refers to the assets take from the ancestors, from the inherent. Okay, the next sentence. 茙颙君子，俾尔弥尔性，纯匙尔常矣。Those proud and outstanding laws, please make yourself the best of you, and do your routine work to the best status with the most crystal and most best way. 纯匙 means do something with crystal clear, with the very, very true, with the real substance. And 常 is the routine work. So that's a very popular word in the ancient Chinese. It's always routine, refer something routine, the routine of the nature, the routine of the daily work. So at these circumstances, it refers to the routine work of all the laws. They should fulfill their routine work, their duty with the best clarity, with the true action, with something with real substances. So as a ramp up from the second to the fourth paragraph, basically this is the advice from the poet or from the king, per the king's behalf, to the laws in this tour, that first thing first, you should always memorize and follow your ancestors. So that's the second paragraph. And in the third paragraph, you should pay your respect and you should serve the God very well. And in the fourth paragraph, it clearly tell those laws you should do your daily work with your best efforts. And from the fifth paragraph, the poem changed its subject. 有冯有翼，有孝有德，以引以翼。So you should have the virtue of supportive and obey to the order. You should have the virtue to serve the elders and to do something good for the public. With all these virtues, you can lead and you can support others. 茙颙君子，四方为则。So you are the proud and outstanding laws of the whole country, and all the other states, all the people in the country, they are take you as example. They are follow you. So this paragraph actually is changed to another angle that clearly tells those laws that what kind of characteristic, what kind of virtue you should have. So with those virtue, with those characteristics, all the people could take you as an example, so they can follow you. And such way we can make our country, make our people better and better. Okay, that's for the part 1 video today, and I will finish the rest paragraph from 6th to the 10th paragraph in the part 2 video. Bye bye for now.